What's going on, everyone? It's your boy here, welcoming you to the 4th issue of Tommy Reed's X-Men, in which we are tackling X-Men number 4 from March 1964, written once again by the dope duo of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. This one is entitled The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, so you know who we're going to meet next. The issue starts off like a lot of them start off, with the X-Men being put through some bunch of training exercises by Charles. And while fighting the different obstacles they have to face, Bobby is actually melted. He's hit with some kind of heat gun, and all his ice kind of sloshes off. And we're seeing, from some weird reason, the only uniform Charles gives him is a pair of underwear with an X on it, and a pair of rain boots, a pair of Uggs, if you will. This is odd because, to me, if Charles wants the X-Men's identity not to be known, he would put Bobby in some type of mask or something, because eventually they're going to be fighting. It'll be on the news, or, even in Westchester where they're located, and people will be like, hey, there's that kid I saw at the record store at the chocolate shop buying a sundae. But I guess he doesn't feel like Iceman has that problem. I guess he feels like he can keep the ice going, except for when he's hit with heat, which we know will never happen, right? The X-Men are celebrating a year as a team, and Charles decides to get them a cake. So they're eating dinner, and he surprises them with a cake. For Jean, it's probably a little bit less because she joined the team in issue 1, and it seemed like they had already established they had been together for a little while, maybe a couple months. But yeah, Charles is saying for 1 year he has been training them to be X-Men. And while serving the cake, instead of using knives and utensils, Cyclops decides to use his optic beam to cut the cake. And then, for some reason, Charles has Jean use her mind powers to serve the cake. Now, at first I thought this was really dumb. Like, why not just get a cake server? You're rich, you live in a mansion, you probably got 15 cake servers. But this is a good exercise for them in retrospect to teach them how to control their powers, to use precise moves. Then Charles says, you know what? Go about your business, go have fun, go be kids. So they all go to their rooms, and then later on he alerts them to tell them something. While they're in the rooms, Jean's dancing with no music on. Angel is actually listening to music, so maybe if they have the room next to each other, they can hear it. Bobby was making a huge, almost Jughead from Archie Comics like sundae. It was like up to here. Beast was reading, and Cyclops was... We didn't see what Cyclops was doing. He was probably just being boring, because we've established he's the boring one. But Charles does let him, the X-Men, know that he and Magneto have been communicating on the astral plane. Now, this is the first indication that Charles and Magneto are starting to get friendly, that they're starting to respect one another, even though they have different ideologies. Magneto feels like the humans, the Homo sapiens, will never respect them for their powers or who they are, and Charles wants to teach them who they are. They're coming from different points of view, but it is Charles, not Magneto, in this issue that says, well, if you don't agree with me, it's going to be mutant versus mutant, ... He hits him with the ellipsis. To the death. To the death. And Magneto's like, whoa, slow down. Dude, you were eating cake an hour ago. How do I know? I just know. You were eating cake an hour ago, and now you're threatening me on the astral plane? When I get back in my body, I swear... None of that really happened, but, I'm reading between the panels. This is, so Magneto mentions that he has a brotherhood of evil mutants that he's gathered. And this makes sense because they can't keep razzing just one dude. He needs a whole team to fight a team, right? So, we meet our first appearance of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Now, the Brotherhood will eventually have several members, but some of the core members are introduced in this issue. We meet the Scarlet Witch and her twin brother, Quicksilver. That's Wanda and Pietro Maximoff. Now, she has hex powers. Now, what that means in this issue is she can kind of go like this and mess with a lot of people. They don't really define what her powers are here. Quicksilver is defined as fast. He can run fast. And they have a loyalty to Magneto right now because when they were children, he saved them from dying. Later on, we establish a different connection between the twins and Magneto, but as of right now, they are just loyal to him because he saved their lives. We meet Mastermind, who has the ability to project images into your head of whatever he wants. So he could appear as a monster. He can make you think the walls are closing in on you, which is very effective with the X-Men in this issue, because they've never tackled something like this. And we also get the first appearance of Toad. Toad is henchman personified. He kind of sucks up to Magneto Now, I know in the late 2000s there was a Toad renaissance, a Toadessance, if you will, but I've never been a fan of Toad, to be honest. So the X-Men, of course, find the Brotherhood and Magneto, and they get into a battle. Everybody's taking place in different rooms fighting. For the 4th time in 4 issues of X-Men, someone, while in battle in a life-or-death situation, decides to take the time to hit on Jean. For some reason, this seems like part of their battle strategy. They just sexually harass Jean, and I don't know what they're thinking when they do it, but it's a common occurrence in these X-Men battles, and it's very odd. Angel, in fact, I guess he decides briefly, contemplates leaving the X-Men to join the Brotherhood once he sees Scarlet Witch because he thinks she's hot. And he thinks, hey, if I join the evil mutants, then maybe I got a shot with her. Who knows? But he's like, nah, you know what? I'm going to be an X-Men. The issue actually ends on a cliffhanger, which is something we haven't had before. The previous 3 issues have been kind of a one and done. We meet a new mutant, the X-Men fight him, get beat up, fight him again, and then for 2 issues, Charles has really helped him out to get the W. But we end on a cliffhanger with the Beast almost walking into a trap, and Charles, who's with the X-Men on this mission, helping him out, and he gets hurt in the blast. The X-Men are confused because they don't know how to help him. The Brotherhood escapes, and the X-Men, for the first time, have no clue what their next move's going to be. We find out in the next issue, because it carries on, like I said, but it did leave on a cliffhanger. So for a month in 64, you're wondering, is Charles dead? What's going on here? I can't wait to put my 35 cents, or however much it was then, I forget, like 15, 20, down, and, check out the next issue. Real quick, this issue read by fast, but my final thoughts, even though we had a bunch of important first appearances with the Brotherhood, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, I didn't love the issue. It was kind of slow. It was just okay. The first appearances were important, but all in all, I didn't dig it that much. It was just alright. So I'll give it about a 7.5 out of 10. But I would say a good majority of those points go to we're meeting some characters that are going to be important down the road. Can't wait for the next issue, though. And yeah, I enjoyed reading it, but it wasn't my favorite. The last issue was more action-packed. So this has been Tommy Reads X-Men. Sorry for my allergies there. And hopefully check you out next issue. Thanks.